This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20, and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads, or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Aharon coming back at you with another lesson, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and I have a couple of articles I'm going to jump into real quick. All right, and the reason why I read that first precept, all right, because again, it's a prophecy, okay, meaning something that is said before it actually comes to pass. Okay, and as we've been living in the year 2023, all right, a few more months before we get into the year 2024, all right, it's been a year filled with end time biblical prophecies. All right, from the state of the world, all right, natural disasters. You know, nowadays they're not so natural, but we're considering it as natural disasters. Okay, this whole transition that we're seeing, which is affecting people, all right, daily. Okay, from this regular world into this so-called new world order. All right, something that's been planned for hundreds of years. Okay, it's now finally coming to fruition. Okay, but it's gonna go to a degree, to an extent. All right, it's gonna be established to the point where those who resist it, all right, we're gonna be facing the death penalty. Okay, and that's what we're heading towards right now, as the scripture says that death penalty, all right, is a form of beheading, which is going to be in the form of these so-called guillotines. All right, and a lot of people trust and believe. A lot of people are going to denounce this truth when they face that reality. Okay, that's why Yahushua said that what he that endureth until the end, all right, the same shall be saved. Okay. So it's going to be a test, but the elect are going to pass that test. Okay. It says America will have to face death in 2024. All right. Now that's a very, very ominous, okay, title for an article, but it's also prophetic. Okay. Because Lord willing, America is going to face her death. All right. In the year 2024, Lord willing. Okay. But let's read. It says, former Vice President Mike Pence and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis closed their eyes during the first Republican presidential primary debate, August 23rd in Milwaukee. The death penalty has long been the direct secret, or dirty secret, of America. Politicians have steered away from addressing the topic publicly while using it behind the scenes to advance agendas. According to the Associated Press, capital punishment has not been a major campaign issue in a presidential election in 30 years. Okay. In 2024, the 2024 election cycle is shaping up differently as capital punishment is rising to the forefront of GOP politics. In the 2024 cycle, American voters will have to address the death penalty. You hear that? And that, again, it sounds like a play on words. All right. Americans in the 2024 cycle, all right, American voters will have to address the death penalty. That just sounds crazy, but is there even going to be an election? Right? There's been a lot of rumblings that, the way the year is going to go, hey, we don't see no election happening. Okay, but wait, who knows? The Lord could extend it and push it. All right. Again, it's all part of the temptation. It's all part of the turmoil. It's all part of the chaos. Okay? It's all part of biblical end time prophecies. Okay? So however way it goes, all right, these prophecies will be fulfilled. Every last one of them. All right? And the last major prophecies is what? In the time of Jacob's trouble, having to deal with the temptation of not taking the MOTB in a society that runs on that MOTB technology. Like we always give this example of, living in current day America without a current day American way of living, which is cell phone, internet, Wi-Fi, all these different things. Imagine living life without that. You can't, you know, you go off grid for just a few days or a week, you feel like you've lost out on a lot, right? You've missed out on a whole lot, okay? Because the world is moving rapidly, and that's all being done because of social media and the technology and so on and so forth. Life is moving at a very rapid pace. People are changing, all right, within a matter of months, based on these influencers and so on and so forth, these trends and all these different things that's happening is changing, all right, the way people think in a very rapid way, okay, compared to, 5, decades ago, right? Anyway, let's read. It says, several GOP presidential candidates have commented recently on the issue, most notably Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump. Both the Florida governor and the former president have made it clear they are some of the most pro-death politicians in contemporary politics, right? And that's all going into draconian, okay? That's all going into draconian, and it's going to happen, okay? Let's read that real quick. The book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. Let me see. Right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Okay, so the 2 horns, all right, is representing, you have the 2 political parties. Okay, being that America is Rome all over again, just like in ancient Rome, you had the 2 political parties. You had the Senate. All right, you had the plebeians and you had the patricians. Okay, when you go into the United Kingdom, they have pretty much the same thing. They have the Parliament, all right, and then you have the House of Commons and you have the House of Lords, right? Same thing here in America. You have the Senate, you have the 2 political parties, which are the Democrats and the Republicans. Okay, and that top-down model, okay, has always been. When you go into a lot of these countries that were colonized, all right, by the British and so on and so forth, they also assimilated, all right, those forms of political structures, right? You go into western parts of Africa, you have a lot of these countries that were being colonized by the British. Okay, they have political parties, they have a parliament, and so on and so forth. Okay, but the point here is that John sees this beast that comes up out of the earth having 2 horns. The 2 horns represents the power. Okay, America runs on these 2 political parties, these 2 forms of government, if you will. All right, the Republicans and the Democrats, and that's how the country runs. That's the power, so-called, right? Or we should say, for those who are in the know, the elites control, all right, the American population through these 2 political parties. Okay, they don't work against each other. All right, which is contrary to popular belief. They don't work against each other. So they only work against each other to divide the masses. That's it. Okay, but they work together behind closed doors to divide the masses. All right, it says, and he spake as a dragon. All right, when we go into that word dragon, it goes into draconian. Okay, because either way you look at it, America is going to be a land of a draconian state. Okay, police state, if you will. All right, and that's coming, whether you like it or yes. Okay, as we're building closer and closer to it, there's another article. It says, Blue City eyes massive surveillance program as homicides, violent crime surge. Okay, and I believe my brother was doing a video. I haven't watched the video yet, but I did see that he had posted it, that basically New York City is embracing this new AI robots. Okay, these robot dogs that we were talking about since 2020, even before that. Well, it looks like they've presented the perfect reason. They're justified now. Okay, I remember years ago they were saying today, if Americans were to see these police troopers and robot dogs, there'll be an uproar. But now, or back then they were saying in the future, all right, they'll be the ones to embrace it. They'll be the ones to call for it. Okay, to accept it. Why? Because of what? Violent crime. Okay, So now they're problem reaction solution. They've created a problem, right? And now the solution is AI is going to step in to mitigate this crime. And by AI stepping in, just like China, all they need is to have one step into the door. That's it. Okay. As we're reading, all right, going back to this article here, all they need is to have one step into the door. And once they get their foot in the door, they change everything inside the room. Okay. Just like how they started with this whole LGBTQ people. Now look what's going on. Now they're bringing it, they're fermenting, they're bringing in their ultimate goal, which is that Baphomet spirit. When you look at the Baphomet statue, all right, you have the androgynous demon, all right, half man, half goat, all right, which has a rod and it has a phallus, okay, and then it has what? Breasts, mammary glands. Okay, that is to symbolize the feminine and masculine. That's that trans so-called gender that we have today, right? And those are all bringing about demons, and it's a perverted thing. That's why when you look at that statue, it has one hand with the two fingers pointing down, and the other hand with the two fingers pointing up, right? As above, so below. Okay, there's a goat, the Baphomet, right, which represents the pentagram. Okay, and then you have what? Two children. Okay, one on the left and one on the right. One is looking up and the other one, I forget what it exactly is doing, but they have two children, showing you that they're going to be coming after your children with these agendas. Okay, so they put it out in your face. All right, you have to be able to see these things because they're right there in your face. Okay, and that's how they do everything. I saw a clip. The predictive programming is insane right now. It's insane. It's a baseball game, and the people who delivered the first pitch ball, they came in like special ops. Okay, like a whole bunch of troops coming in, right? And they're giving orders and direction, and then one of them picks up the ball and then he puts it there, and then they give direction again, like they're doing a drill. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? People didn't even notice that? They're letting you know the military is about to take over soon. FEMA. Okay? The next wave is coming. It says, let's see, it says in the 2023 legislative session, Florida, at DeSantis' urging, passed two bills that position Florida as arguably the most pro-death state in the U.S. First, Florida reduced the standard. It's like it says in the U.S. Now, just the verbiage, the most pro-death state in the U.S. You see what I'm saying? It's like, why are we in a world that pushes that type of language, right? Pro-death. You know, and the whole country is pro-death. It's built on death by way of debt. Okay. It says, first, Florida reduced the standard for imposing a death sentence to the lowest in the country, requiring that only 8 of 12 jurors vote to recommend a sentence to death. Before, Florida required a jury's unanimous recommendation for death, which is the standard in all other death penalty states except Alabama, where the jury vote requirement is 10-2. Now, I remember they were saying that AI is going to start basically ruling over civil matters. Okay, so they're gonna be programming AI. They already have smart guillotines. I did a video on this like a year or two ago. Okay, I might have to probably redo another one or go back into it and re-upload it. But smart guillotines are a thing where it's already programmed, where you don't have a person who's gonna see your face and feel bad for you and be like, you know what, I'm not even going to cut your head off or whatever. Nah, these are, okay, this person doesn't have the thing, chop the head off. We can't scan your forehead or your hands. You can't. All right, well, you gotta go. Fully autonomous. Okay. It says, let's see. DeSantis' pitch to make America Florida is not just a slogan. It's what DeSantis seeks to achieve with a presidential bid in 2024. Indeed, in presenting Florida's new capital sex crime law, DeSantis said that Florida's bold agenda is setting the terms for debate for the country. Trump has a similar record. He directed an unprecedented string of 13 executions in his last 6 months in the White House. And the number 6 comes back up again, 13 and 6, right? Under this administration, the federal government completed its first executions in 17 years. So they're starting to warm them up, okay? Because they're going to need them. All right? And trust and believe, as we speak right now, the DHS has thousands of guillotines ready to go, okay? Thousands. The DOD, all right, and so on and so forth. They have thousands ready to go. And this was all ordered during the time of Obama, okay? They got hollow point bullets in the million rounds ready to go, okay? And they do trainings. Right now as we speak, they're saying that they're doing urban trainings on how they can go into houses and, you know, chase after people who might escape and so on and so forth. I'm like, oh shit. So those days are coming. You know, they're not playing. They are not playing. Okay? Klaus Schwab already, he already came out and said, no, he said, not everyone is safe until everybody is so-called Vanessa'd. He said that, you know, and they've came out and said things that, you know, if they wouldn't have said, you would think is a conspiracy theory, you know, but not anymore. Okay. It says, since leaving the White House, Trump has urged the return of barbaric execution methods like the guillotine. See? Most recently, he called for the immediate death penalty for anyone involved in human trafficking. That's where it starts. You see, they could use something like human trafficking. That's such a bad thing. Again, to play on the emotions of the people, to accept something that eventually will become will be painted with a broad brush. Okay? So now it starts with, we're just going to start off with people who engage in human trafficking. Well, then Trump, you're going to be gone too, right? All you and your people in the White House, they all going to have to end up in the guillotines then, because they're the biggest beneficiaries of all this trafficking stuff. Okay, they say that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Okay, child trafficking, that is, human trafficking, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and it makes you wonder, who the hell is so interested in people and kids and organs, and who the hell is doing all this shit? It ain't the average person just walking around. When these things are being sold on the so-called black market for thousands of dollars, it ain't no regular people who can barely pay rent, you know, go week to paycheck to paycheck. They ain't worried about purchasing organs and shit. You know, it's these higher elite people, and now they're putting it out in your face, to the point where Ukraine can come out and say, we want a witch, high-level satanic demon like Marina Abramovich to come out and be an ambassador to what? To children? Are you serious? They're bringing the Baphomet right in your face, man. Straight up. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they started putting the artists to bring that kind of energy to the children. It's okay. We're all inclusive. Let the children walk around with the drags and all this dumbass shit. Now look what's happening. I saw a statistic the other day. They said children changing their gender and doing all this castration and all this shit, you know, what they call gender affirmation, all this fuck shit that they keep doing. Babylon and its bullshit. Yeah. They said there was an increase of, 145,000% of an increase in people changing their genders, man. I said, what? You 140 something thousand %? That's bugged the hell out, man. You know? And now you see why America is going to be destroyed. It's just evident. You know? But this is what Trump is asking for. To bring back what? The guillotine. Okay? Heads going to be rolling. Most recently, he called for the immediate death penalty for anyone involved in human trafficking which would also contradict the 2008 ruling in Kennedy. Mike Pence, another presidential hopeful, said in June that he supports a death penalty that is swift and certain. What can you think of with something like that? Guillotines. Okay? And like I said, it's always the entry. They have to get their foot into the door first. It starts off with, oh, we're gonna have to go after all these bad guys. And next thing you know, everyone who disagrees with their agenda is categorized as a bad guy. And then now you got to face the penalties of what happens to the bad guys. You see? Remember, the war is now domestic. All this technology that they're building, all this infrastructure that they got going on, all this systematic change is all for here. The final takeover, America. Okay? In 2024, voters will no longer be able to ignore that capital punishment. That capital punishment remains an active element of American life. In contemplating the death penalty, voters must consider more than whether they morally agree with capital punishment. And these people, they don't even know what the hell is going on. They're not even going to get the option to vote. All right, because it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. You can vote all day, all night. Once the time of martial law is enacted, the constitutional so-called rights, privileges. Let's go with that. It's better. It sounds better to them. Right? Those so-called privileges are gone. They're non-existent. Okay? And now you're in warlike, you're under warlike law, where all you're doing is listening to commands and people are getting arrested. Okay? Yeah, it's gonna be crazy very soon, man. It says, ramping up the death penalty puts a significant burden on taxpayers without any real deterrent effect. Studies from across the country have shown that the death penalty is highly expensive for taxpayers, even compared to prison sentences of life without parole. There are additional expenses even before an execution, related to legal costs, pretrial costs, jury selection, trial, incarceration, and appeals. You know, again, once you know how to skip all this shit, martial law, right? Under martial law, none of this shit matters. Okay. It says, as to the actual execution, the American Civil Liberties Union reported that the Federal Bureau of Prisons spent close to $1 million on each execution carried out in the summer of 2020. Damn. More than it cost to incarcerate a federal prisoner for 25 years. Further data shows that the death penalty does not have any true deterrent effect, which was Pence's cited reason for supporting it. In 2021, the Sun Sentinel reported that, quote, annual murder rates are consistently higher overall in the death penalty states than in the 22 without capital punishment. According to the Gun Violence Archive, in more than 100 mass shootings that took place in the first 10 weeks of this year, 82% of the resulting fatalities were in death penalty states. Ultimately, pro-death policies do little more than impose further trauma on victims and the people involved in the criminal justice system. Now, that's the point. Okay? It's to traumatize the people. All of whom get their job is, we're going to break your faith. Okay? We will break your faith. That is the test from the Lord. Our job is to come in, just like the Lord sent Satan to go test Job. It's to test you to the point where you denounce your God, you denounce your faith because of fear of death or whatever. Right? That's why your faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has to be increased to the point where, so much so that your faith is so high that it trumps that fear. Okay? You don't even think about it as a fear. You think of it as a quick way to get to the Lord anyway. Right? That damn, like the Lord found me worthy enough to die this kind of death, to sacrifice. Wow, that's written in the scriptures. Those who were martyred for Yahushua's sake, those names are going to be immortalized. Like that. That's brave, bro. Like, damn, he stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord unto death. That's loyalty right there. That's a man of faith. you know? And that's a great reward that's going to come with that. Great reward when your house shot gets back. It says, all of whom must participate in the drawn out process created by a death sentence that often does not result in an execution. Okay, now let's go into this this thing here that I was reading. Okay, the next article, which I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm just going to jump in through it. About the surveillance state. Again, they're creating this what we call the panopticon. Okay, you have cameras everywhere, but yet crime is like at an all-time high. Okay, so that then they're justified to say, well, I mean, these cameras are not working. We need to have facial recognition cameras all throughout the entire states. When you're on the highway, you guys say cheese to the camera, right? When you're going to a grocery store, you have cameras everywhere now, right? That's all setting up that police state. Everything is being watched. Big Brother's watching, and that will police people's behavior. Okay, it's all psychological. Again, you have the MOTB technology, MOTB mentality, and MOTB reality. In the world of the MOTB, everybody's under compliance. Okay, you're being ruled over by AI. All right, you're being watched. You're being policed. All right, everything you do is being listened to. All right, going through some type of AI algorithm. And if you disagree with the status quo, well, you could be facing some time, or you're going to be going under that guillotine. It is what it is. Okay, they said they're going to get their new world order by either by consent or by conquest. All right. So we got a huge fight, but we will overcome. They said here, Washington will add 50 CCTV cameras. Mayor Muriel Bowser announced last month. The city is also committed to doubling its cameras over the next 2 years. We know that good video evidence is key to closing cases and increasing accountability, Bowser wrote at the time. Total crime in Washington is up 28% year over year, according to the police data. The district's 30 permanent CCTV cameras, located mostly around downtown, can be monitored live at the MPD Joint Operations Command Center. But their use is event-driven, and they're used only during major events or emergencies rather than on a continuous basis, according to MPD. So once again, they have a justified reason for bringing this type of surveillance state. Okay, and this is how the police state becomes a thing. Okay, so they have to modify people's behavior, right? The mentality before that actual reality, all right, comes into play. Okay, so there you have it, man. This is where we're heading into. Okay, expect draconian measures very soon when the WHODAT, all right, takes power and FEMA is in charge of America's daily operations. Okay, continuity of government, if you will. COGCON. All right. So it's coming, man. All right, they say next month things might get very interesting. Okay, things might get very interesting, and yet you still got people here chilling, having a good old time. I have no idea what the hell's about to hit them. Is the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3 says, For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 3. Okay, and that's the times that we're coming in, like we always say. Okay, these devils have the plans and they're ready to go. I saw a clip, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Bill Gates is cheesing. Okay, they had a small little vignette, and he was just doing his thing about the whole world should do their part to build this global community, whatever fuck shit they're talking, and I'm like, this guy is cheesing. He's happy. He's excited. He thinks he's about to fill his belly, and that's when the Lord strikes. All right. That's when the Lord strikes. All right. Job 20. Let's get that. And then we're going to close it out. Okay. Before we do so, Is the book of Job chapter 14 and verse 5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Okay, Esau, Edom, you cannot pass the amount of time the Lord has given you to rule. No matter what you do, no matter how you try, no matter how hard you try, this is where the Lord has set it up to be, and this is how it all ends. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay? Job 5 and 12, he disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Okay? That novos ordo seclorum is your enterprise, and the Lord is going to destroy it. Okay? He's destroying it right now by way of his prophets. Okay? And the total annihilation will come by the way of his son Yahushua when he comes back down and completely annihilates this empire, this wicked satanic empire, man. All right? This wicked satanic empire. Okay? This is the book of Job chapter 20 and verse 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. All right? And that's exactly what you're starting to see now. The vibration is changing. People are waking up. All right? These countries, and not just the countries, but the people in those countries are all fighting against what? Against the American foreign policy, especially pertaining to this Ukraine shit. Okay? You got Germany, people protesting out there in Germany right now. All right? Saying that, no, we shouldn't be sending no money or engaging in this bullshit war. We're not into that. We don't want no part to that. You see? And if the people are saying that, then what's going to happen? The government's going to be doing it. Okay? At least on that scale. All right? So there's division everywhere you go, man. All right? Every way you look at it, there's division. All right? And that's weakening the system altogether. Okay? But ultimately, these other nations are getting together and getting geared because there's division once again. And they're going to be doing what? They're going to be turning against this bitch, America. Okay? And it's going to be the end of it. All right? The end of it. Verse 23, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Okay? So this system is not going to go any further than what the Lord has prescribed for it to go. Okay? That means you're not going to actually get a world where you get to rule and sit down and, like Klaus Schwab, you have to be protected, like all this bullshit. You're not getting there. You're not going to create a zero carbon world and, everything is, 3D printed and people are microchipped. You're not going to get that far, bro. All right? You don't got much time. All right? You go as far as the Lord has given you to go to fulfill prophecy. And that's it. Okay? And part of prophecy is America's system being completely destroyed by thermonuclear fire. All right? Verse 24, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. Okay? And ultimately, that's going to be done through Yahushua when he comes back down with his angels. All right? And that day is coming very, very soon. Anyway, I'm going to leave it off there. Lord willing, you're edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. Until next time, Shalom.